Imagine yourself standing right in a chaotic street. Motorbikes keep threading needles between cars and vendors calling out prices like auctioneers who skipped breakfast. The chorus of horns, a blur of bodies, a phone in your pocket ringing wildly as if it's having a panic attack, someone banging metal against metal, and somewhere close a child's cry pitches through the air like a thrown stone. This is the symphony of modern life in most cities. It is loud, insistent, and completely convinced it deserves your full attention. Now imagine that in the middle of all that, one person, you, stands completely still. You are not frozen or defeated by the chaos around you. You are just chilling with a cup in your hand and a half smile on your face. You watch people as they bounce off the edges of their calm like waves hitting a pier, and you can't help asking yourself, what do they know that I don't? Because if we're being honest, most days your nervous system feels like a badly tuned instrument. Every pluck, no matter how random, produces a full body chord. A delayed text spirals into worry. A comment online becomes a courtroom drama in your head. Someone cuts you off in traffic and you donate 3 hours of peace to a person you'll never meet again. Your mind is a generous landlord and anxiety is the tenant who never pays. You should know that being in the middle of the storm and winning isn't superhuman. You don't need to buy a secret meditation app and unlock enlightenment like a video game upgrade. You have learned a skill the rest of us were never taught, the art of not giving a damn. This gives you the ability to decide on purpose what gets inside and what gets turned away at the door. If your attention is currency, you've been tipping everything, breaking news, gossip, or even a stranger's frown. By noon, your wallet is empty and the things that actually matter, your craft, your health, your people, get whatever coins are left in your pocket. Meanwhile, if you remain calm in the storm, you get to budget and invest your time properly. You will walk past 100 invitations without being upset and RSVP no without guilt. You might think that's cold because isn't caring what makes us human? It is, but caring without aim is how you drown in shallow water. The goal isn't to feel less, but to feel accurately. You should give your best attention to the few things that deserve it, and starve everything else. By the time we're done in this video, you'll have gained a filter so sharp that noise slides off like rain on oiled glass. You'll see how to protect your energy without becoming a statue, how to set boundaries without turning into a villain, and how to build a life that can sit in the middle of chaos and not flinch. There's an old, simple story I've carried around for years. It starts on a quiet coastline. A wealthy businessman is on vacation and he's walking along the shore when he notices a fisherman pulling his small wooden boat onto the beach. Inside the boat are just a few fish. The businessman becomes curious and asks the fisherman, "Why do you have so few? Why not stay out longer and catch more?" The fisherman shrugs. "I have enough to feed my family and trade for what we need. After this, I'll have lunch with my wife, play with my kids, take a nap, and then maybe sit with my friends, drink wine, and play guitar." The businessman smiles and thinks that it is his moment to deliver great advice. But if you stayed out longer, you could catch more fish, then you could sell them, buy a bigger boat, catch even more fish, and hire others to work for you. Eventually, you'd have a fleet, make a fortune, and retire early. The fisherman tilts his head and asked him, "And after I retire early, what would I do?" The businessman replied, "You could move to a small coastal village, spend time with your family, take naps, and drink wine with your friends." What the businessman advised was a roundabout way to the freedom the fisherman had already cracked in his simple life. An entire life of hustling, racing, stressing, all to earn the right to do what you could have been doing from the start. The fisherman understood something the rest of us forget, that if you already have enough, chasing more can cost you the very life you're trying to build. This is where not giving a damn starts. It brings in a certain level of clarity into our lives. We are clear about what's actually worth your energy because the world will never stop offering you reasons to care about the wrong things. And if you don't consciously decide your boundaries, the default setting is care about everything. How caring too much became the default. Somewhere between the invention of social media and the rise of motivational hustle culture, something strange happened. We started living in a constant open tab of other people's lives. Think about it. Our grandparents might have known the details of a handful of people's problems, neighbors, maybe a few relatives, the folks they saw at church. But now you know about a celebrity's messy divorce in Los Angeles, a political scandal in another country, a stranger's bad review of a toaster, and the exact number of steps your co-worker's Fitbit logged yesterday, and somehow all of it feels like it needs your opinion. We've been conditioned to believe that caring about everything is a virtue, and that if you're not in a constant state of productivity, you're falling behind. But when you care about everything, you're actually just scattering your attention so thin that nothing gets the depth it deserves. You become a mile wide and an inch deep, spread out, stressed out, and weirdly disconnected from your own life. It's like watering 100 plants with a single glass of water. Technically, you touch them all, but none of them are going to survive. The problem is, we've mistaken awareness for obligation. Just because you can know about something doesn't mean you must carry it. Just because you can work on something doesn't mean you should. Learning the art of strategic disengagement. So, if most of what we're carrying isn't even ours, what do we do about it? How do you drop stones that don't belong in your backpack without feeling guilty or reckless? The answer is deceptively simple: strategic disengagement. This isn't about ignoring responsibility. It's about consciously choosing where your attention, energy, and emotion are spent. Think of it as curating a gallery. Not every painting deserves wall space. Some belong in storage and some belong in the trash. Only the most valuable, meaningful pieces get to shine where everyone can see. Let's break it down with an example. Imagine your co-worker criticizes a report you spent hours perfecting. You can take it personally, craft a detailed mental rebuttal, lose sleep and stew in anger, or you can pause, evaluate whether their criticism is constructive or just noise, and decide what to keep, what to discard, and move on. The first option is classic overcaring, and the second option is strategic disengagement. You don't lose anything by doing the second one. In fact, you gain clarity, energy, and peace of mind. Strategic disengagement is also a skill honed by history's most successful, unshakable people. Take, for instance, Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor. He had armies rebelling, plagues ravaging cities, and senators scheming constantly. And yet, in his journal, he reminded himself daily that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Or consider the fisherman from our story. He already had the life everyone else was chasing: time with family, enough to eat, freedom to enjoy his days. He chose not to care about the pressures of expansion, the rat race, or society's definition of success. His disengagement wasn't apathy, but a deliberate focus on what mattered. When you practice this, the world keeps spinning, chaos continues, and yet your mind feels lighter than it has in years. You stop over-caring about the small stuff, and suddenly life is full of extra space to think, create, and be calm in the storm. Tools, techniques, and daily practices. Now that you understand the philosophy, let's get practical. How do you actually stop giving a damn about things that don't matter? How do you build habits that protect your attention and mental energy every single day? The 5-year test. This is deceptively simple but incredibly powerful. Anytime a situation or conflict triggers stress or irritation, pause and ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? If the answer is no, then give yourself permission to let it slide. This single mental exercise prevents countless hours of wasted anxiety and energy each month. The emotional budget. Think of your mental energy like a daily allowance. You only have so much to spend. You wouldn't spend your last dollars on cheap trinkets, right? Treat your focus the same way. Decide in advance where you'll invest your attention. Treat everything else like spam in your inbox. Delete it, mute it, ignore it. This daily budgeting stops trivial matters from hijacking your mind. The so what filter. Whenever a situation irritates you, pause and ask yourself, so what? For example, if someone cuts you off in traffic, ask yourself, so what? You're alive and moving. Let it go. Most of the time, your brain inflates small annoyances into crises. The so what filter brings perspective and lets you disengage before overcaring spirals. Digital gatekeeping. Modern life bombards us with information designed to provoke an emotional reaction. Social media, notifications, and constant news updates are like a leaking faucet that drain your mental energy without you noticing. Turn off non-essential notifications, unfollow accounts that trigger envy, anger, or insecurity, and set specific times to check email and social media. Your attention is sacred. Protect it like your favorite possession. Practice saying no. Most people overcaring stems from a fear of disappointing others. Stop. Saying no is an act of self-respect, not selfishness. Every yes you give to unimportant things is a no to what truly matters. Practice saying it gently but firmly, and watch your life expand in unexpected ways. Redefine success. Take a moment to ask yourself, what does a good life actually look like for me? Once you define your own success, giving a damn becomes selective by default. Anything that doesn't move you closer to your vision becomes noise that doesn't deserve your attention. Real-life stories and historical examples. To truly understand the power of not giving a damn, let's look at people who lived it, either by choice or by circumstance, and how it shaped their lives. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic Roman emperor. Marcus Aurelius ruled one of the largest empires in history. Imagine that weight: plagues, invasions, political betrayals, and endless court intrigue. Most people would be permanently stressed. Yet, in his private journal, he constantly reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. He didn't ignore his duties, but he refused to give a damn about the petty judgments of senators, the gossip of the public, or the small mistakes of subordinates. That selective attention allowed him to rule effectively while remaining mentally unbroken. The fisherman revisited. Remember our fisherman? He wasn't rich in money, but he was rich in life. While everyone else chased more, he focused on what truly mattered: family, friends, time, and peace. He demonstrates the simple principle that you can spend decades pursuing external validation, or you can start prioritizing your values today. His life wasn't easy, but it was deliberate. Warren Buffett. Let's look at a more modern example. Buffett's not just a billionaire, he's a master of selective caring. He famously spends hours reading and thinking while ignoring countless distractions. He doesn't chase trends, hype, or peer pressure. Every decision is intentional, and he avoids getting caught up in the noise of the market. This has gained him legendary clarity, wealth, and influence, all because he learned to care deeply about the few things that mattered and ignore everything else. It's not just emperors and billionaires. Look around you and you will notice people who maintain calm under pressure, teachers who thrive despite chaos, parents who juggle responsibilities yet remain centered. They don't get dragged into every fight, every drama, every small irritation. Instead, they focus energy on what truly matters. The science of not giving a damn. You might be thinking, this all sounds great, but is there science behind it, or is it just philosophy and stories? There's a surprising amount of evidence showing that letting go of unnecessary stress and selective caring actually rewires your brain, improves health, and makes you more productive. The brain on overcaring. Every time you obsess over a trivial annoyance, your brain releases stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline. Short bursts are fine because they help you react to real threats, but chronic overcaring floods your system with these chemicals daily. The consequences is increased anxiety, poor sleep, reduced focus, and weak immune response. Your neurons literally get overloaded, and your decision-making ability suffers. In short, the more damns you give to unimportant things, the worse your brain functions over time. Focus. The good news is that your brain is plastic. That means you can train it to focus only on what matters. When you practice selective caring, filtering out trivial stressors and distractions, you strengthen neural pathways associated with attention, emotional regulation, and long-term planning. Every time you consciously ignore nonsense and redirect focus to meaningful tasks, you trim away the weak branches in your mind, leaving stronger, more productive pathways. Stress reduction and longevity studies consistently show that people who manage stress effectively live longer and healthier lives. One key factor is that they don't waste energy on things outside their control. By refusing to give a damn about unnecessary drama, you lower cortisol levels, reduce heart strain, and even improve memory. Your body and mind get to rest, recharge, and function at peak capacity. The attention economy. Modern psychology also teaches us about the attention economy. Every notification, headline, or social media post competes for your brain's limited resources. By selectively disengaging, you reclaim attention as a finite, valuable asset. People who master this skill get more done, think more clearly, and make better decisions than those who constantly react to noise. The happiness connection. Finally, neuroscience shows a direct correlation between selective caring and happiness. Letting go of trivial stressors increases dopamine and serotonin levels. You feel lighter, calmer, and more content. Daily mindset shifts and rituals. Understanding the philosophy and science behind not giving a damn is one thing, but applying it daily is where most people fail. So let's build practical, repeatable habits that train your mind to focus on what matters and shrug off everything else. Morning intention ritual. Start each day by asking yourself, what truly matters today? Write it down. Keep it to 3 to 5 things max. This simple ritual primes your brain to invest energy in meaningful activities instead of being hijacked by trivial distractions. Evening reflection. At night, review your day. Ask yourself, what stole my attention unnecessarily? What actually deserved my energy? This reflection creates awareness of patterns and reinforces selective caring. It's like a mental audit, evaluating which stones you carried unnecessarily and learning to leave them behind tomorrow. Limit information overload. Your phone and social media are like leaky faucets for attention. Close the unnecessary tabs. Turn off notifications for everything except what truly matters. Set intentional windows to check messages or news. By creating structured information intake, you regain mental bandwidth for your priorities. Physical anchors, meditation, journaling, or even simple deep breathing exercises act as anchors, reminding you to disengage from irrelevant stress. Even 5 minutes a day can recalibrate your nervous system and strengthen your ability to choose where to give attention. The say no habit. Most people overcaring stems from a fear of disappointing others. Each unnecessary yes is a drain on your life force. Practice saying no to minor obligations, distractions, or drama. Every refusal creates mental space for the things that actually enhance your life. Gratitude and perspective. Each day, note 3 things that went right or brought joy. Gratitude trains your brain to value what truly matters and reduces the tendency to sweat the small stuff. Pair this with perspective checks. Ask, will this matter in a week, a month, or 5 years? And you'll notice a natural reduction in unnecessary worry. Weekly mental detox. Take a few hours weekly to disconnect completely. No email, no social media, no external input. Use this time to reconnect with yourself, nature, or your passions. This strengthens your selective caring muscle and reminds you that most of life's urgencies are optional. These daily rituals aren't complicated, but consistency is key. Over weeks and months, you'll notice a shift. Less stress, more focus, and the kind of calm that feels almost rebellious in a world desperate to steal your attention. Humor, real-life anecdotes, and the lighter side. Not giving a damn doesn't have to be serious all the time. In fact, a big part of mastering this mindset is laughing at the absurdity of life's little dramas. Take this classic example. A friend of mine once spent 3 days stewing over a typo in an email he sent to his boss. He replayed it in his head like a horror movie, imagining every possible way it could ruin his career. 3 days, over a missing comma. By day 4, I showed him the email thread. The boss hadn't noticed, didn't care, and had already moved on to bigger things, like managing the department budget and dealing with actual emergencies. This is life in miniature. We obsess over things that are laughably inconsequential. Learning to not give a damn is partly about stepping back and saying, "Really? I'm spending hours panicking over a comma?" When you laugh at the absurdity, your brain releases tension, and the mental space for unnecessary caring begins to shrink naturally. Bottom line. Now, let's tie everything together quickly. What have we learned on this journey into the art of not giving a damn? First, caring indiscriminately is exhausting. Most of the stress, anxiety, and irritation you feel daily comes from giving your attention and energy to things that simply don't matter. That's the reality everyone avoids admitting, but it's the truth. Second, selective caring is not apathy, it's focus and clarity. It's the deliberate choice to protect your mental energy like the most valuable currency you own. Third, science, psychology, and countless personal anecdotes show that the less you overcare about trivial matters, the more your brain functions optimally. Cortisol drops, focus improves, decision-making sharpens, and happiness actually increases. Every stone you leave behind is a weight lifted from your shoulders. Every no you practice frees up energy for the things that truly enhance your life. And every moment you pause to ask, "Is this worth my damn?" you step closer to calm, clarity, and freedom. You cannot control the world, and you cannot make everyone like you, but you can control how much attention you give, where you invest your energy, and which battles you even fight. The challenge for you is to start today. Audit your mental backpack, say no to one unnecessary obligation, and laugh at one absurd worry. Remember, you only have a limited number of damns to give in this lifetime. Spend them like gold, and watch your life transform.